friends.
Hey guys.
Greetings. Welcome to Pacific Crest Trails, the podcast that is oh, I fucked it up already.
Pacific Crest Tales, the podcast that is as irregular as the Thru Hiker's bowel movements.
That's a tongue twister.
We can attest to.
Yeah.
It is true.
Wildly accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for delivering what I did
no,
not.
You just said Pacific Crest Trail, which is the name of the thing.
I'm quite tired. It turns out this endeavor is weirdly tiring. Who knew?
Yeah, that's been so surprising. This sounds so arrogant and stupid, but I thought that the hiking would be the easy part and that the logistics would be the hard part, and it has proven to be the opposite of that.
Yeah, but the logistics aren't that easy either.
No. We had a day, the logistics are not that easy, although very doable. It just requires brain power that you don't have. We had a day the other day where we hiked 21 miles and had 6,000 feet of elevation gain. And the grade is never that bad. It's always quite mellow. So you don't even, no specific moment is that bad, but it just accumulates. And by the end of the day, you are just destroyed.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was really hard. Yeah. We were both just silent, staring past each other the entire time. By the time we cooked dinner, I was like, is this spot flat? I don't give a shit about anything.
Okay, we've dived straight into rambling, which
I love
and is the vibe. Yeah. But let's bring a little structure. Where are we now? What has happened since Idyllwild? One of our commenters did point out that we are indeed pretty irregular with this content, so let's give a fat update.
Okay, so where we are now is in the town of Wrightwood, California. It's right around we hitched in from mile 369?
Yep.
Is that right? Okay. 369, which is a lot further than the last time we checked in, which was at mile 150-ish. So in Idyllwild, we told everyone that we were going to skip the snowy section, which was about 30 miles of trail that we skipped, and then went up a side trail to get back onto the PCT. There were some insane views out of Idyllwild, and the mountainy sections are quickly becoming my favorite. No surprise.
No surprises there.
Yeah. But they are, just lovely. You just see over these huge desert expanses, and the juxtaposition with the desert and the mountains is just wild.
Yeah, it's strange. You're walking through sandy terrain with loads of prickly pears and agave, and then you get high enough and you just pop into some pine forest with patches of snow. It's very... I was going to say jarring. It's not jarring. It's a strange transition.
It's welcome, though. It's quite
lovely.
Nice. Yeah.
It's great.
So Idyllwild, we've resupplied since then, haven't we?
Yeah, we had a stay in the town of Big Bear, which is a kind of sprawling ski town.
Yeah.
By a lake. That was fun.
It was really fun. We stayed with this trail angel called Kenny, who was so nice. Really friendly, really talkative, big music guy, great storyteller. He did have his entire house painted up with Trump 2024, which was scary.
That
at
was
first.
jarring.
That was
when we arrived.
That was really scary. But he was really nice. He said, "We're not talking politics in the house. I won't try to convince you. You don't try to convince me of anything. Let's just be people." And it was actually kind of eye-opening as to what being around people who don't believe the same thing as you can be. I don't know. It was very...
It was a cool experience.
Pleasant experience,
yeah. It was. He gave us rides. He played us guitar in the morning over breakfast.
Yeah.
A gigantic breakfast.
Quick plug for the Kenny Anderson Band. He's trying to get back into the music business, and he's very, very good. So, Kenny Anderson Band on YouTube and Spotify. Check it out.
I sobbed over breakfast, if that's any endorsement.
He cooked us a fat breakfast, and with undercooked potatoes and delicious everything else. It was slamming. Thanks a lot, Kenny. Shout out.
Thanks, Kenny. Okay, that's kind of where we're at now. We're over 10% through the trail, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
The miles are disappearing more quickly now.
Mm-hmm. Bodies are feeling better.
Yeah.
Well, how's your foot doing?
Foot is doing pretty good. The ankle is feeling a lot stronger. It still hurts sometimes, but not in a way that feels scary or bad. The plantar pain on the underside of my foot is still there. We did 2 back-to-back 20-mile days getting into this town, and that definitely pissed it off a bit.
That was hard.
But that might have been an error of judgment, and maybe we just take it a little bit more slowly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stop every 2 hours and do my PT exercises, and it's going pretty well. We still seem to be out here doing the thing, so that's great. I'm
Yeah.
happy.
You're looking a lot more confident on uneven terrain. Like on cambers and snow and rocky bits, you're like approaching things really confidently,
I
which
slow
is
down
very
less
cool.
and
Yeah.
do less of the like hunched over pole grip fear
Yeah.
stance.
A lot less shaking.
Yeah, thank you. A lot less weeping. Moving on, what gear have we switched? We've had a few mix-ups in what we're carrying and what works for us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. So you got new shoes.
I got new shoes because my Altra Lone Peaks started developing holes early, which
gigantic hole.
Yeah, huge holes, which kind of sucks. So switched over to Topo shoes, which seem really nice. They're a little bit more like hiking booty, but the robustness I think will pay off in that we don't have to buy as many pairs of shoes.
Disclaimer: they were purchased in this town, so they've not been trail tested yet.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll report back on
We'll
whether
see.
those work.
They're a little bit more narrow, so I'm slightly nervous, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. You also snapped a pole.
Oh yeah, when we had to hike, so there was a section called Mission Creek where the last year's hurricane completely washed out the entire trail, and so you're just hiking up this huge washout creek bed filled with like loose boulders and rocks and stuff.
Super fun.
Yeah, it's like scree slope but almost horizontal, and nothing had settled really, and so it was quite challenging. It took a long time, and there's an alternate that you can skip a really bad washout section, and we took that off of the trail. You just cut a corner on the trail basically, and you go off trail. It was bushwhacking, but essentially just like everything on the PCT, it was a lot more manicured than any bushwhacking we've done.
You would have been very disappointed.
Yeah, that's true. It was a freaking highway,
yeah.
And there were plants that we thought were toxic that we were trying to avoid. We have come to learn that we were totally wrong about that.
We were dodging the wrong bush.
Yeah, but
we were dodging a completely harmless bush.
Yeah. An edible one, maybe.
Yeah, potentially edible. We'll report back on that.
Yeah. And in trying to dodge one and step over a blown down, like, burnt tree, I took a bad fall and landed on my pole and totally snapped it in two. And it is the only poles that keep our tent up. And so it was pretty urgent to get new poles.
Yeah.
So I got some new ones, the same model, but a little bit more lightweight and more robust. So pretty stoked about that.
Hopefully, yeah.
And they have snow baskets, which my previous ones did not.
Yeah.
And that has proven quite useful because we've seen a decent amount of snow so far.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, quite a few patches.
And a lot more coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
This is not something that I have switched yet, but my shorts are failing me. So I bought Goodwill shorts before we left, and I knew they were shorter than I wanted to, but it was all I could find / all I was willing to spend. They were $7. Nice.
They're short.
But they're... I'm getting terrible chafing on my thighs,
You got
which
red
is
thigh?
miserable and not really something I've ever struggled with before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a new, unpleasant phenomenon for me. So at my earliest convenience, I'm going to replace those for trousers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm just fed up of having to put sunscreen on my legs and carry extra sunscreen.
Yeah.
So I think, covering the legs up might be the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, unexpected gear fail, but there you go. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And then the gear switcheroo I'm most excited about. When we started the trail, we weren't totally sure like how to eat. We didn't really want to carry bowls, so we're eating out of Ziplocs, which is fine. But once you've washed them and reused them a couple of times, they tend to develop holes. And when you're rehydrating your dinner on your lap, on your sleeping bag, and there's a hole, it doesn't go that well, is what I've learned.
We also don't ever really get anything that clean because you can't justify the weight of soap. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So you're essentially just rinsing everything, but water is also sometimes hard to come by.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's scarce. And so you don't want to use that much water to clean things.
Sorry, I have to blow my nose.
And so there is a substantial lowering of standards, even from my meager clean standards prior to the trail, that is
disgusting.
It's disgusting, and Ziplocs are a very challenging thing
They
to
are
clean.
extra disgusting.
Yeah.
So we've embraced cold soak life, not fully, but we have these little ice cream containers.
Called it.
You might have called it. These little ice cream containers that the lid screws on nice and tightly. They hold like a pint.
Yeah.
Which is about perfect for a big dinner. And it's great. It's been really helpful. So sometimes we still cook, we still have the stove, but sometimes we cold soak. Which is weird. I did not think that we would be saying that.
Some dinners work better for cold soaking than others. Some things that we would cook up, ramen or, various pre-prepared like rice sides that you find in the grocery store and stuff, have an element of oil to them, which does not cold soak well.
No, you just get these tiny little chunks of like floating fat, like mini fatbergs, if you will, and they're disgusting. It's horrible. So
they sink your appetite, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's bad. So we're learning what cold soaks well.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
Breakfast.
Oatmeal.
Yes.
Rice cold soaks really, really well.
Beans.
Yeah, there's some dehydrated, like refried beans. That's a mouthful.
So good.
They're delicious. They cold soak really well. So anyway, that's probably the gear I'm most excited about.
Yeah, that one's been really nice.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed that a lot.
We've had some viewer questions. Thanks for engaging with the podcast, everyone. So let's work them through. Question number 1 from Audrey. What was the winner chicken dinner, which was a Ziploc bag we got from a hiker box? Would you like to tell the people?
Well, I don't actually know. There were...
To clarify, we have eaten it.
We've eaten it. It was on a huge day, and we were so hungry. We threw some extra mashed potatoes in there to bulk it up a little bit, and...
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we were so hungry and tired that I don't even remember. There was chicken in it. I think
it was mostly mashed potato with some little pieces of chicken in it. And I couldn't tell you that there was any... Oh, there were some onions. There was some dehydrated onions in there.
And
that was it.
Choice.
Yeah, onions good. The ratio of stuff, like non-mashed potato stuff to mashed potato, was not favourable.
It was poor.
Yeah.
It was basically mashed potatoes.
So...
Which,
I wouldn't describe that as a winner, personally.
No.
I do disagree with whoever wrote that.
We've had some winners, and maybe next podcast we should prepare some of the best food that we've eaten.
Oh, yeah.
And then people can laugh at what we think of as good food.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Okay, second viewer question. Hi, Eleanor. Do tarantula eyes glow under headlamp light?
Sinisterly, no. They suck in light like a black hole, and they are always wanting more, seemingly. And so they are scary. And one of the reasons that we have not cowboy camped in the desert, cowboy camping is just camping without the tent. And it's much more simple, and most nights it doesn't rain because we're in the Southern California. But the Tammy tarantulas have kept us from doing that very often, I think.
There's lots of other critters. And
yeah.
So many ants and crickets and...
Yeah, a lot of ants, boy.
Yeah, anyway.
But anyway.
How's the bidet working out? I'm glad you asked.
Yes.
Medium, I would say.
Medium good, I would say.
Okay, medium for me. Where do I start? Well, we're in the desert, and so sometimes water is really, really scarce.
True.
We had like a 20-mile water carry the other day, and you certainly don't want to carry extra to use on your butt under those circumstances. So there's many times when we're not using it because water is scarce.
True, but there have been more times, in my estimation, where the toilet paper is scarce. We're really getting through it lately. And so the water helps us use less toilet paper. So the bidet, I would say, is not as resounding of a success as I had expected. I was kind of hoping that we would be a net zero toilet paper use family.
That's always the goal, isn't it?
that is not where we're at.
No, with the diet that we are currently consuming, I don't know that that's possible.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that is all I will say on that.
Yeah. Also, a factor that I did not expect was the proximity and the aim when you're trying to use the bidet. It's not as easy as I was hoping, and sometimes you come out with wet cheeks, sometimes you get a little splashback.
I have not had any of those issues, so that sounds like a you problem. Sorry, hon.
Moving on.
Just on this note, though, shout out to Asa and Elizabeth and their very cold home bidet, because I had to use some snow the other day when we were
out of toilet paper.
Extremely low on toilet paper.
Yep.
And yeah, they lovingly coined the phrase Wim Hof in your asshole, and that is definitely descriptive of that experience. Too much information. Moving on.
Anyway.
Nature highlights. Let's move on to something more wholesome. We've seen some really cool flora and fauna, and I just want to talk about highlights from the last little stretch. One of my favorite things from the last week, there's just been these like absolute oceans of purple flowers, like lining the trail. And I looked up what they were, and they're desert chia sage, which is a relative of the cultivated chia plant. It's a little too early to get seeds from them, but yeah, you could, if it was later in the season, we could absolutely be harvesting our own chia seeds,
That would
which
be
is super
so
cool.
Yeah.
And but we get the flowers instead, and that is beautiful.
We saw another plant along the road down the other day. It was really tall and stocky and had these yellow flowers, and we were like, oh, I wonder what this is. It looks like maybe it could be edible. And we looked it up on this cool plant app that I have, and it's either hoary mustard or, more likely, a plant called bastard cabbage, which
both of which are just fantastic names.
Delightful. So we might try to eat some. We looked it up later, and it's you can cook it, and it adds some much needed fiber and green to our meals. So
that would be our fourth plant that we've eaten along trail if we add that one into the rotation. So we're doing pretty good on the foraging.
Yeah. I'd like to do even better. I'm excited. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, we're so desperate for fiber. Send help. Seriously, help us. Any other nature highlights?
Let's see. What animals have we seen? A lot of turkey vultures. Tons of lizards. Just so many lizards. Most of them are tall, small, spiny lizards, and probably one every 2 minutes. They're just scurrying off the trail. Lots more horny toads. And Charlie saw a really cool large lizard the other day.
Which you told me was called a collared lizard.
It's a very charming animal.
Cool. He looked like he had a little scarf on.
He did. It was cute.
Very cute.
I'm trying to think of what else. I think that's just about it.
Yeah, we saw some bear tracks down by Mission Creek, which was a little spooky.
And we saw an animal loping across the way, which we could not tell if it was a coyote or a cougar because it did like a massive jump up into a treed area, and then we lost it. So.
And it looked large for a coyote.
Looked really large for a coyote.
Small for a coug. So,
so
jury's out, but we made it through.
Yeah.
We have a very, very important and exciting trail name update for you.
We have them.
Yeah. It kind of, in a slightly unofficial way.
I have been able to manifest the trail name Laser, for which I am very proud.
How did you manifest that? Do you want to tell the people?
Just mainly thinking good thoughts, mainly like willing it into the universe, a lot of meditation, a lot of prayer. I would go so far as to say it was prayer. And I told people to call me that. And they did, because they're nice people. So
we jokingly said to some trail buddies of ours, hi Eclipse and Jerky, if you're watching.
Shout out.
That we were trying to manifest the trail names Laser and Dragon. And then we didn't see them for a few days, and then we caught back up with them, and they thought that we had requested the names Laser and Sabertooth, and so my trail name is now Sabertooth because it's way cooler. And someone else did actually give it to me.
Officially bequeathed.
Yeah. You also had a brief flirtation with the name Bread Rock. Would you like to tell that story?
So, after one of the aforementioned huge days, oftentimes you're camping close to a lot of other tents because there's lots of people on the trail and they're all interested in the same tent sites. And people are kind of making the same intervals that you are. And so you use a lot of the red light setting on the headlamp so as not to disturb people at night when you have to get up and use bathroom or whatever. And so on one of these forays, I was looking at the world via red light, and I walked past another tent, and for some reason I just could not parse in my brain what was holding their stakes down. I was like, oh my God, where did they find that much sourdough? They got like 6 loaves of sourdough? Why are animals not eating this? This is so bizarre. How did they find the sourdough? Did they pack that out? Oh my God, I can't believe they packed out 6 loaves of sourdough. What idiots. And then I went to bed. And in the morning, I woke up with a little bit more sleep on the brain and a little bit more rational thinking. And they were obviously rocks. They were rocks. Yeah. And I just didn't even occur to me that they might be rocks. And so I was flirting with the trail name Bread Rock.
But it's not It's not as catchy as laser, is it? So
No, it's not. Although not many people know our trail names yet, so maybe you guys could vote. Maybe send us a text if you feel confidently one way or another.
yeah, or if if there's some other wild options floating around. My friend Duncan did point out that he did already bequeath me a trail name a while ago, which was Bear Snack, which is cute, but I'm just trying to will better fortune into the world
True.
for myself than
True.
that, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Dunk. It's not you, it's me. What's next?
Next is one of the other largest challenges of Southern California, Mount Baden-Powell, which is a very large snow-covered mountain. It should have boot packs the entire way. It's less of a long snow travel than the previous mountain that we skipped, so I think we might go for it.
Yep.
We do not have traction devices or ice axes, which a lot of people who have less experience in the mountains than us feel are completely necessary. So we're going to try it out. We're going to head up. I feel pretty confident that it's going to be fine. We can always strap some pine boughs to our feet or something like that.
That's the backup plan, yeah.
Yeah.
Nature's crampons.
Nature's crampons,
Yeah.
exactly. And
And
if it starts to feel sketchy,
we'll turn around.
yeah, we'll back off. Yeah.
Cool.
There is an alternate where you walk on a highway for a long time, but that sounds extremely unattractive.
That does not sound that fun, yeah.
No. So there is a way around it, but I would prefer if we didn't. And then we go on the LA Aqueduct, where we walk in the desert, to the true Mojave Desert, for miles and miles. There's some 30-plus mile water carries ahead of us.
Let's not think about that. That's material for a future app, I think.
There's a Walmart ahead of us in a few weeks.
Which is weirdly exciting because resupplying in small mountain towns is expensive and very limited options.
Yeah.
So Walmart becomes attractive.
Yeah, like weeks in advance, we're like, yes, Walmart, yes, come on. Yeah, anything else that we're looking forward to?
It's my birthday in a week, so we're going to hopefully pop into the small town of Acton. We should hit that town stop right on my birthday, and so we'll pop in for a big meal, which will be necessary and exciting. And
all the puppies that I have purchased for you
should
arrive right on the day.
Shipped. Yeah, perfect. Good.
Yeah. I tried to order a lot because the rate that they survive is just not that good. So.
This is a joke that we have had in our relationship for a long time that might not translate well to podcast land. So I think on that note we should sign off.
Okay, well, thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, let us know what questions you have for next time. Of course, like and subscribe. I'm going to say it every time.
Smash that like button.
Yeah.
And we've talked to some of you about joining us for certain sections, and at first we weren't sure if we were going to make it, but it's seeming more likely now. So if we've talked to you about joining us and you're still serious about it, please hit us up.
Or if we haven't.
Yeah, and if you want to come join us, please do. We would love it.
It's great. It's really fun. We might not have sold it with our talk about the food, but it's more than all the
But it's extremely fun.
The views, yeah.
And it's completely separate from society. It's just a really fun way of living for a while. And so
come join us.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, friends.
Bye.